back, and this is a very big thing, a very serious video. It's the name of the video, it's called how to fight power in a big way. Well, I have some ideas. So first I'm gonna say what the problem is, and then I'm gonna give some ideas. And the reason I'm doing this video, because I want to fight power in a big way. And when I say power, I mean the unjust system of the system. Now there's a particular I'm going to narrow down a little bit the problem, so you can understand where it's rooted. And also I'm going to point some injustices in the system and why these things are in present. First of all, this is about this is a little ticket. This is a little ticket that the court system gave me, so I'm getting out of the court now. And when you have a ticket from the court, there are two options. Either A, the ticket will be dismissed, or B, the ticket will be in effect and you have to pay some penalty. Now the penalty might be monetary, you can pay money, or you can pay with time, you can serve community service, or you can be forced to go to be educated on a topic. Let's say if you are a guy who pee on the street, right? You go to the court. Let's say you're a homeless guy that pee on the street, and you go to the court and the judge says you are peeing on the street, and the guy say, well, I'm homeless and there was no any restrooms around, so I pee on the street, right? That's the problem. So the judge would say, well, you have to A, do community service, B, pay $50, or C, you gotta go to these classes to manner yourself to fit better in the society. And you're gonna go to a lecture half an hour or 1 hour. You know, you get the picture. Right now, I'm not talking about this problem. I'm talking about another problem. And the problem is, most of these tickets that some of the citizens I'm talking particularly in United States, in big cities, they have a reason for these tickets. Now, some of these tickets are given to people that are working people on the street. Let's say if you're a street vendor, from time to time, I've been working on the streets of New York for many years, right? So I used to have a company on the street, like 10, 15 people, 20 people, 30 people. So, you know, after a while, I start recognizing a pattern. Whether or not you are guilty, you still have a ticket. You got that? If you're working on the street, if you're a street vendor, if you do delivery, if you're an Uber driver, if you do anything that has to do, you do some business on the property of the city, you will have to get a ticket. And it doesn't matter if you did violation or you did not. So I start exploring this process of ticketing people, and I had a lot of friends, police officers, and in some close conversations, you know, like in a conversation like a friend, they usually say, you know what, the problem is not you, the problem is not the thing, we just have to give tickets. And I say, really, how is that? That's like very cool, very interesting. So you have to give tickets. And say, yes, this has nothing to do with me, I would not personally do it, but my superior, the guy above me, or my supervisor, it's giving me a quota that I have to meet, you know. So that's what the police officers are saying. They have a quota. So that is a wrong and a bad system, you know. So in other words, the problem is that people that are enforcing the law, the people, the very people that we have to trust enforcing the law or keeping the law, police officers, they are actually forced to give tickets. There is incentive. In other words, there is incentive. For example, do you know, like for example, do you know that if you're a police officer and if you have a lot of arrests, you get upper in your career faster? Actually, you are also not just career-wise, but you are also money. There are money incentives for doing your duty well. Now, there's a problem here. The word is, how are you doing your duty? Are you actually doing your duty well, which means looking for troublemakers and people that really breaks the law, or you just do it, you know, I don't care, I just have to do my job, and my job tells me I have to give tickets, and therefore I stop anyone on the street and I look for a reason. And who to stop? You're not gonna stop running after the criminals because they are hiding, right? So you're gonna stop the first people you see available. People on the street, Uber drivers, people that work on the street, delivery guys, and all this stuff, and you come up with all these little, oh, your light doesn't work, this doesn't work, your brakes are not working, if you're a delivery guy, right? So the police officer tells you, oh, and they give you tickets. Now, these tickets, the people that have to deal with these tickets, they go to court, they waste 1 day of their life instead of working, and then nothing happened. Now, most of the time, these tickets are being dismissed, but it doesn't pay the time of these people. The time that they lost, the time that they, instead of them going to work and make $50 or $500 or whatever X amount of money, they don't do. So they first lose money, they lose a lot of things, they also emotionally distressed. Sometimes they quit their job, sometimes they change careers because of the nature of their job. And I'm saying here that having incentives to give people tickets also should have some kind of a monitoring system to see if the police officers are doing their job properly. And now, where is this system? Now, let's say you go to the court and you dismiss the ticket. What happened? Nothing happened. The police officer that gave you the ticket, let's call it a bogey ticket, a wrong ticket, he did not pay anything, right? So he actually is being promoted for giving as many tickets as possible, and he's being promoted and he's wasting people time. So they go to court, they fight. So I came up with this little idea, you know, like this is not just about when you this is not about this little problem with the tickets. This system, this corrupted system, it's all over the place. And I live in the United States of America, the most developed country, the most sophisticated country, the brightest minds are here, and somehow we cannot take a hold on this wrong system. So I came up with this little idea. It's I want to build a community, and I actually came up with a name, and I'm looking for supporters here. The name of the community, oh, it's a lot of noise in New York City. The name of the community, it's called let's call it People versus the Law. And I'm not saying the law in a bad way, but I'm saying the law that it's not doing the right things, you know. The main word here is how the law is being implemented, and how the law it's taking a lot of resources from people, like time, like money, and nothing is being done in that area. Or if there is anything done in this area, there is it's done in a very small scale. I will just give you an example. I've heard recently that some lawyers, some clever guys, they got together and they sue New York City. I don't know if this is true, but I've heard, and if I've heard, it's like half true. Like, for example, that these smart lawyers, they got collected all of these cases of these wrong tickets, and they sue New York City for $75 million. Out of the $75 million, they also made like a petition, and they went to all these people that was giving the tickets, and they told them, hey, listen, if you get this ticket, we're going to give you money if your ticket was dismissed. So they sued the city for $75 million, and somehow they won. I'm not quite sure if this is the right number, but millions of dollars. And when I was thinking about that, wow, that's like it's a lot of money, but the scale of this event will not change the system. Also, we know that there are some organizations for vendors. Like in New York City, there is a vendors organization. Actually, I know the guy who is leading this organization, and these people, this vending organization, it's the main purpose of this organization is to protect vendors, and they actually resolve a lot of the vendors' problems for money. They collect some fees from these vendors, and they have some lawyers, and these lawyers are defeating these vendors. But again, this is a very small scale operation. It's defending a few people, hundreds of people, maybe hundreds, okay, a few, it's 100. But I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this messed up system that is actually giving incentives to the police officers to give these tickets. And there's one part missing in this whole thing. The part is called feedback. Now, I would like to have some team. I would like to team up with some people and to work with the courts. And what is it? My proposal here. My proposal is this. There should be some kind of system here in place, implemented. When these tickets are dismissed, some consequences for the people that they gave these tickets to begin with has to be implemented, like a feedback information. For example, it's let's say a ticket has a cycle. The cycle starts like this. First of all, a police officer issue a charge. He's charging a person with some violation. No, doesn't matter, criminal, non-criminal, administrative, and then the court decides that this violation was not true, so the ticket is being dismissed. But after this thing, the ticket goes dead. They put it in some folder, they throw it in the garbage. Of course, it stays in the record. Now, let me tell you this. Like, when you have like a few tickets, 1 or 2 tickets, and if they are in court, no matter if they was good or bad, they are still on record. So anytime you go to the court, you meet a attorney that first has to point that you are a criminal to begin with, right? He is pointing how bad you are. He is already halfway treating you as you did something wrong. Most of the people go in the court, in these cases, I'm talking about this particular case, most of the people go in the court just doing anything wrong, but they are already treated because the court system has this tool. Everything is on record. That is the tool. Everything is on record. So you go with one ticket, and the guy that is supposed to defend you, the attorney, he is telling you how wrong you are, and he does not even listen. Some of these people, like these attorneys, they are there just for the money, so they don't really care about what really happened. When the ticket, they don't care, because when these dismissed tickets are dismissed, it's not a mistake of the court, It's not a mistake of the police officer, it's none of the above. It's only your mistake that you are, for example, working on the street or whatever. So I came up with this little system. It's called people versus law. Not in a bad way, not in a bad way. And I have a lot of ideas how this can grow into a worldwide movement. So if you like this idea, let me know what you think about how can you be of help. And that's it. That's for today's video.